So for the Grace Nugget, I would like to share and have us think a little bit about our commitment to Christ. How fully are we committed to follow Jesus? And I want to start by reading a little bit about the story of a story we're familiar with, the Apostle Peter. And we're going to turn to John chapter 13. John chapter 13. Jesus is speaking with his disciples there. They finished they did the Last Supper, the foot washing, all that has passed, and now Jesus is on his way towards the Garden of Gethsemane, and the mood of the hour is, it's becoming really heavy and thick, and Jesus tells Peter and the other disciples that he's going to leave them. In verse 33, he says, "Little children, yet a little while I am with you. Ye shall seek me, and as I said unto the Jews, whither I go ye cannot come. So now I say unto you, a new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you, that ye also love one another." Verse 36, to this statement that Jesus makes, Peter now asks a question. Simon Peter said unto him, "Lord, whither thou goest?" Jesus answered him, "Whither I go, thou canst not follow me now, but thou shalt follow me afterwards." Peter said unto him, "Lord, why cannot I follow thee now? I will lay down my life for thy sake." Peter was honest, he was earnest, but unfortunately he didn't know his own heart. Jesus answers him in verse 38, "Wilt thou lay down thy life for my sake? Verily, verily, I say unto thee, the cock shall not crow till thou hast denied me thrice." This week I was listening to, I think it was a sermon or something, and in the message they shared the story behind a familiar song. How many of you have heard the song, "I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus"? So it was interesting. I had never heard the story behind that song, even though I grew up singing it. And basically, the origins of that song go back to the 1800s, and it's attributed to a convert, the experience of a convert from India to the gospel. So back in the mid-1800s, there was a missionary, a Scottish missionary named William Cowan, and he served in India from 1866 until his death in 1902. He was an evangelist. He was preaching the gospel. He would go from place to place. He was an educator. He built many schools, and he even did a lot of work with health. So he had literacy programs teaching people how to read, and he instructed the people in better hygiene and health habits. So he did a great work there in India. And in one of the areas in northern India where he was working, he had just, by painstaking efforts, learned that local language there in that area, and he started teaching the people. He would start teaching them agriculture as well, helping them in their basic needs. And it wasn't long before he started gaining converts to the gospel. But one of his converts would face severe persecution. We don't know his name, though heaven surely knows the name of this convert. But the story goes that the tribe that he was a part of, the chief was very angry when he heard that he converted to Christianity. And so he was taken with his family and brought before everyone. And the chief tells him, to renounce his faith, give up his faith in Christianity, or he would face major consequences. And so to that, he responds, I have decided to follow Jesus. To that, the chief gave the order. It killed his family, threw spears at them or shot them with arrows, and they died right there on the spot. And again, the chief looks at him and he tells him, renounce your faith in Jesus. And that's where the second line, though none shall go with me, still I shall follow. And as the chorus goes, no turning back, no turning back. And so the chief tells him, okay, then you too will die. You too will pay the price. And to that he answered, the world behind me, the cross before me. No turning back, no turning back. I don't know what that is because I've never been faced with that decision. Being in a situation where your life is on the line and you have to make a choice between your life or professing faith in Christ and in the gospel. But one day it will come. This is what prophecy shows us, that one day we will all be faced with that decision if we're alive at that time. But now what I want to reflect on is, Peter had to face this. Peter had to make a choice. And unfortunately at that moment, as Jesus himself predicted, he failed the test. Instead of standing firm for the faith, for his faith in Christ, he cowered, he was fearful, and he sold Jesus out to preserve his own life. And remember, Jesus had warned him of this. Wilt thou lay down thy life for my sake? Verily I say unto thee, the cock shall not crow till thou hast denied me thrice. And so the question is, and this is part of our spiritual experience, to continue growing in faith. The Grace Nugget is about growing in grace. And in order for this to continue to happen, we must take moments for deeper reflection upon our own spiritual life. Where are we right now? And one of the good ways to take inventory of our spiritual life is to ask the question, where is my heart? Jesus told his disciples, he said, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So here's something very practical, something that we can do, and we can reflect, we can take inventory of our own life and think, where is my, what is my treasure? And that word treasure, basically, it implies anything, how do you know what something, what is a treasure? It's something that is valued. It's something that we hold as precious, right? Something can be our treasure even though someone else might look at it as junk, right? As the saying goes, how does it go? It's losing my mind. Yeah, one man's treasure is another man's junk. So it's something that we as an individual attribute value to. Value. And so think about your life. Think about this week. Right? Be very practical. What have I given value to? And again, we might ask another question. Well, how do we know the things that we value? Well, the things that we value, we invest in. We invest our money. We invest our time. We invest our best efforts. Those things, that's how we show that we value something, and what we value is our treasure. And where our treasure is, that's where our heart is also. And so it's helpful to make this reflection. And like David, we need to learn how to pray and ask the Lord to help us understand our own hearts. David in Psalm 139, we can turn there, Psalm 139. David recognized that sometimes it's difficult to know what's in our own heart. Sometimes we aren't aware of what's taking that first place. And so David prayed and asked in Psalm 139, verse 23 and 24, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting." And so we should often be praying like this: Lord, search me and know me, and help me to understand what's in my own heart. Help me understand what I'm giving value to, where I'm investing my time, my efforts, my means, so that I can know where I'm at, so that we don't find ourselves in a situation like Peter, where we think something with our head or with our emotion. We think we love Jesus. We think we're ready to give everything. And yet, when the moment comes, we're even surprised of how we reacted. Where is our heart today? My invitation, if we want to keep on growing, if we want to keep growing in grace, we need to know where we're at. And the only way to know where we're at is to ask God and take time to make that spiritual inventory of our life. Where am I investing my time? Where am I investing my best efforts, my deepest affections, my money? All those things are an indicator of what is our treasure, which ultimately shows us where our heart is. And the only way to find, for Jesus, the only way to find God told his people in Jeremiah chapter 29, "And ye shall seek me and find me when ye shall search for me with all your heart." That's necessary. It's vital. We can't give God a divided service. We're not going to find him unless we seek for him with all our heart. But man, once we find him, once you find that treasure, the whole life changes. The whole life changes. And we come to experience something that we will be, like this man from India, we will be willing and ready to die for. We will find in Jesus such a treasure that we will say, I have decided to follow Jesus. Though none shall follow, right? Though none go with me, I will follow. The world behind me, the cross before me. Even if it means sacrifice, we'll be willing to follow Jesus. May that be our experience today and forevermore.